The morning sun poured softly through the cafe windows, warming the edges of a day that had barely begun, yet carried the weight of a lifetime for the woman who stepped inside. Her hands trembled slightly as she held the strap of her purse, trying to appear calm, trying to pretend she belonged in a world that wasn't built for her. She had gone through this routine hundreds of times, ordering a simple cup of coffee, but today felt different. Today, her courage felt thinner, her confidence felt cracked, and the silence around her felt heavier than usual. The barista asked a question she couldn't hear, and all she could do was freeze, her fingers lifting halfway to sign something she knew he didn't understand. The room blurred for a second, her heart thudding with that familiar ache of helplessness, and she wished just once that someone, anyone, would see her struggle and not just stare. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and small moments that change lives, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Thread. Your support helps these true-hearted stories reach more people who need a little light. Her name was Emily, a woman in her late 20s whose silence wasn't a prison, but the world around her turned it into one. Being deaf wasn't her weakness, people's impatience was. She had mastered sign language, learned to read lips in fragments, practiced writing orders on her phone, and even rehearsed her coffee order dozens of times in the mirror. But sometimes the smallest tasks felt like mountains, especially on days when the world moved too fast for her to catch up. Today began as one of those days. The cafe buzzed with morning chatter, cups clinking, steam hissing from machines, yet to her ears it was a muted storm of shadows and movement. She tried to explain her order by pointing, signing, even taking out her phone to type it, but the barista looked confused, glancing back at the growing line. Emily felt the sting of eyes on her, the silent judgment, the impatience, and she wanted to shrink into herself and disappear. She wondered how something so simple could make her feel so invisible, so painfully alone. She lowered her hands, defeated, and was seconds away from walking out when a small hand tugged gently at her coat. She turned and saw a little girl, maybe 8 years old, with a bright pink backpack and the kind of innocent curiosity that reminded Emily of the softness the world once had. The girl looked up with wide eyes filled with an emotion Emily rarely saw in strangers, pure concern, unfiltered, genuine. The girl didn't speak, she simply touched her father's apron and looked between him and Emily in a way that suggested she saw something no one else did. Her father, a tall man with kind eyes and a quiet strength, wiped his hands on a towel and stepped closer. His daughter tugged again, as if urging him to help. He leaned slightly toward Emily, and before she could panic or retreat, his hands began to move, slow, clear, graceful. He was signing. Emily's breath hitched as she blinked, unsure if she had imagined it. But no, he was signing. He asked her what she wanted to order, and the relief that flooded her chest was so overwhelming she nearly forgot to answer. Her fingers moved with a mix of surprise and gratitude as she signed back, telling him her order. For the first time that morning, someone understood. The man nodded gently, translating her order to the barista with ease, then turned back to her and signed that everything was taken care of. Emily felt her eyes burn, not from sadness, but from the sudden warmth blooming inside her. She signed thank you with both hands, her gestures full and emotional, the kind that held more meaning than the phrase itself. He simply smiled, a soft smile that said he was happy to help. His daughter beamed proudly, as though she had been part of something important, and she had been. That small tug, that innocent urge to help, had sparked a moment that Emily knew she would never forget. As Emily waited for her drink, she watched the father and daughter move around the cafe. The little girl helped him clean a table, swinging her legs playfully, unaware that she had just changed someone's entire morning. Emily wondered what their story was, how they knew sign language, how this man had learned a language most people never thought to learn. She didn't know their background, but she could see the compassion in his posture, the humility in his movements, and the kindness that seemed woven into the very way he interacted with the world. Her drink was placed in front of her, and she felt a lump in her throat as she picked it up. The father signed, "Have a good day," and his daughter waved, smiling with a glow so contagious that Emily couldn't help but smile back. It was a simple gesture, a simple moment, but sometimes simple moments carry the greatest impact. She left the cafe with her shoulders lighter, her heart brighter, and a renewed sense of belonging she hadn't felt in a long time. Emily walked through the busy street, her coffee warming her hands, replaying the moment in her mind. A single dad had stepped forward when no one else had, and his daughter had seen her humanity before anyone else even noticed her struggle. That small connection, that silent language shared between strangers, reminded Emily that kindness didn't need sound to be heard. It could be felt, deeply, powerfully, in the space between hands and heart. As she sat on a nearby bench, sipping her drink, she saw the father and daughter exit the cafe. They walked together, the girl holding his hand, skipping slightly. People hurried past them, lost in their own world, unaware that they had just walked by a man who had become someone's quiet hero. Emily wished she could say more, express how big the impact was, but some gratitude exists beyond words, spoken or signed. Sometimes it lives quietly inside us, shaping the way we see the world from that moment onward. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Thread. Your engagement helps spread more stories that inspire kindness and hope. Before the ending, take a moment to comment, have you ever seen a small act of kindness change someone's day? Emily stood, feeling stronger than when she walked in. Her world had not changed, her silence had not disappeared, but someone had met her halfway, and that made all the difference. On an ordinary day, in an ordinary cafe, a single dad and his little girl reminded her that even in a noisy world, kindness speaks the loudest.